If you look at your schedule right now, your day is probably carved into highly rigid, calculated blocks of time. You wake up to a buzzing alarm, commute to a job, spend 8 hours sitting in front of a screen, and spend your evenings rushing to buy groceries, pay bills, and manage a never-ending list of responsibilities. We treat time like a scarce currency, something we have to constantly save, manage, and spend wisely. But for 99% of human existence, time was not a resource to be managed. It was just a natural stream. For millions of years, before jobs, offices, clocks, or rent existed, our ancestors had a completely different relationship with the day. So, what did ancient humans actually do all day? And how did they spend 24 hours of daylight in a world before work? The popular myth is that prehistoric life was a non-stop, desperate struggle to avoid starving to death. We imagine cavemen waking up in a panic, freezing in the cold, and running around in a frantic 24-hour scramble to find anything edible. It sounds exhausting, but anthropology has completely demolished this idea. In the 1960s, researchers studying surviving hunter-gatherer groups discovered that securing food didn't take all day. In fact, it only took about 3 to 5 hours of light, self-paced effort. Hunter-gatherers were actually the original affluent society. Because their populations were small and their environments were rich, they could easily meet their survival needs with just a few hours of walking, tracking, and gathering. Once the food was in the basket, their workday was officially over. So, if they weren't working, what did they do with the remaining 10 to 12 hours of daylight? First and foremost, they rested. Ancient humans were professional nappers. Without clocks, artificial lights, or caffeine, their sleep was fluid and natural. They slept when they were tired, woke up when they were rested, and slept in warm, communal piles inside their caves or shelters. They had no concept of sleep deprivation or insomnia. If they woke up in the middle of the night, they didn't lie there stressing about their inbox. They sat by the embers of the fire, talked, looked at the stars, chatted with whoever else was awake, and drifted back to sleep when their bodies felt like it. When they weren't sleeping, they spent an enormous portion of their day on social maintenance. In a tribe of 50 people, your relationship with your neighbors was your only real insurance policy. If you got sick, injured, or too old to hunt, your life depended entirely on whether your tribe liked you enough to take care of you. Because of this, socializing was the most important activity of the day. They spent hours grooming each other, picking dirt, twigs, and bugs out of each other's hair. While it sounds unappealing to us, grooming is a powerful mammalian bonding ritual. It releases a massive flood of oxytocin, lowers heart rates, and communicates deep physical safety. It was the Stone Age equivalent of a group chat, a vital way to reinforce social bonds and keep the peace in close quarters. They also spent their days crafting, but prehistoric chores were highly conversational and leisurely. A hunter didn't sit in isolation to sharpen his flint spearhead. He did it while sitting in a circle with his friends, sharing stories, telling jokes, and passing down skills to his children. Women didn't gather plants in quiet dread. They went out in groups, singing songs, gossiping, and watching the children play in the grass nearby. Even labor was a deeply social shared experience. Crafting baskets, sewing leather hides, and shaping wooden bows were integrated seamlessly into the daily flow of conversation and laughter. But the magic of the prehistoric day really happened when the sun went down. The control of fire didn't just give us warmth and cooked food, it literally extended our day. Around the warm, flickering glow of the campfire, the camp became the original living room and theater. This was where they told stories, composed songs, danced, and built the shared mythologies and belief systems that bound their communities together. The campfire was where they processed the events of the day, shared their dreams, and laughed under the stars. Life in the Stone Age was not a perfect paradise. Infant mortality was incredibly high, injuries could be lethal, and winters were harsh. But the stress they experienced was acute and temporary, a quick sprint from a predator, not the chronic, low-grade, endless anxiety of modern bills, notifications, and careers. We built a modern world of ultimate efficiency, wealth, and comfort, but we paid for it with our time. We traded the freedom of our days for the security of our offices. The next time you find yourself wishing you had more hours in the day, remember that for most of human history, We had all the time in the world, and we spent it sitting in the grass, talking to our friends, and waiting for the sun to go down.